Yeah, if we go on the offensive, try and win the stage, and yeah, that's probably the best way to try and defend.
Now he starts to accelerate a little bit harder. Pidcock has used this immense power to go clear on the climb. Well, what an escapade it has been. Tom Pidcock, tremendous, wins stage 4 of the AlUla Tour.
The AlUla Tour 2025 is Tom Pidcock's to lose after his demonstration yesterday on the sky views of Harrogate Wyrid. The British rider leads by 29 seconds as we head into today's 5th and final stage. But the wind is once again going to be a factor, and Pidcock is taking nothing for granted.
A lot of wind today, so yeah, it's going to be a big day of echelons, I expect. For sure, there's going to be splits and yeah, different teams with different plans. So we'll just have to yeah, try and stay on the good side of those splits.
We start and finish today at the AlUla Camel Cup Track, which is part of Saudi Arabia's rich sporting heritage. Tim Merlier is aiming for his hat-trick on the day of his son's birthday.
My son is 2 years today, so yeah, nice day. Then I take every opportunity over here. It will be really nice, but not that easy.
Meanwhile, Dylan Groenewegen is looking to give the home team, Jayco AlUla, something to celebrate on this final day.
Be focused, it's the last day, so everybody feel the legs maybe a little bit, but yeah, everybody know that there is some wind. We will see what happens in the race. We have also our GC to defend, and yeah, then hopefully we have me in the final to sprint. Also from a small group maybe, but yeah, that's what we need to see in the final.
There are crosswinds forecast in the early part of stage 5, so it could be chaos from the off. Both the GC teams and the sprint teams will have to be ready to jump if it all kicks off. Other than that, it looks a straightforward sprint stage, with Merlier obviously the favourite to get another win, just under 170 kilometres to bring this 5th edition to a close. Well, today's breakaway only formed shortly before the live pictures began, with 4 men around a minute ahead of the peloton. They were Diego Uriarte of Equipo Kern Pharma, Matthias Breinhoy of the Terengganu Cycling Team, Nicolo Garibo of JCL Team Ukio, and Cyril de Salle of Wagner Bazin, a teammate of the most active rider Jens Reinders. And the reason they only got away relatively late in the stage is because there was absolute chaos at the start, sadly before the cameras started rolling. The race split in the crosswinds with a group of around 30 riders, including Pidcock and Merlier, going clear. The riders in 2nd and 3rd overall, Rainer Keplinger and Alan Hatherley, were both caught out. But through the collective efforts of Bahrain Victorious, Jayco AlUla and others, it all came back together again. So, a fairly classic race situation, with the peloton keeping the breakaway close and wary of any more attacks in the wind. Well, not wanting to get caught out, Pidcock soon sent his team to the front of the bunch, Q36.5 apparently deciding that attack was the best form of defence.
Well, Pidcock seems like he wants to take the race on rather than let any other team take advantage of his squad. So he's going on the offensive most of the time, as opposed to waiting and seeing whether the team of Jayco AlUla or the team of Bahrain Victorious take the initiative.
Pidcock's men just keeping an eye on things, not really driving the peloton on, but there was still plenty of nerves in this bunch, as illustrated by a crash between the Japanese champion Marino Kobayashi and Spanish rider Pablo Carrascosa. Luckily, there didn't seem to be any major damage done. Well, things remained fairly settled for the next 20k or so, but when the wind picked up again, a couple of teams decided to put the hammer down.
Set out the echelon alarm across the desert plains of Saudi Arabia. because this race is now on.
The second overall, Rainer Keplinger, is in the group of drop riders.
We're just hearing on Radio Tour, Keplinger has now been dropped as well. Look at the speed, and Bahrain Victorious have realised that they've lost a rider. Look at Pidcock moving up. Hatherley now has been distanced as well.
And so for the second time today, Tom Pidcock's closest challengers found themselves on the wrong side of a split. A steep learning curve this for Hatherley, who hasn't done much road racing and won't have much experience of echelons. Keplinger also on the back foot. Well, the gap was only around 10 or 15 seconds, but UnoX Mobility were keen to drive it on. The Norwegian squad had 3 riders in the top 7 this morning, Frederik de Varsnes, Johannes Kulset and Odne Holter, and they sensed the possibility of snatching an overall podium. Slowly but surely they increased the front group's advantage to over 20 seconds. Pidcock, Merlier and Groenewegen were all in this front group, but it was all about UnoX. There were bonus seconds available as they swept over the finish line for the first time, 3 for de Varsnes, 2 for Kulset and 1 for Pidcock. Now they needed a 45-second gap at the finish line to eject both Keplinger and Hatherley from the podium.
UnoX are putting Keplinger and Hatherley to the sword.
So it was 2 races for the price of 1 in this final. UnoX targeting the overall podium and the sprinters getting ready for their final shootout. A grandstand finish to this AlUla Tour.
Here comes Milano, he's ready, Christoph is there as well, Milano hits the front, Groenewegen is there, Moschetti is there as well, look at Moschetti go, look at the flat out rider in Q36.5, it's going to be a win for Moschetti, Matteo Moschetti of Q36.5 gives them the stage win, and Tom Pidcock wins the overall. What a finish to the AlUla Tour. Who is going to be second and third overall? Look at Hatherley on his absolute limit, the South African. They are fighting for time. They cross the line now, and we'll wait and see what the clock says.
What a way for Q36.5 Pro Cycling to round out what has been a brilliant week. Matteo Moschetti landing his 10th career win and his first since back in September 2023. He was led out by Tom Pidcock, who claims his first GC victory in the professional ranks. The British star has made a dream start to life with his new team.
To be honest, I'm a bit emotional. It's quite a fairy tale almost, you know. And you know, to see how much it means to these guys, it's incredible. Yeah, it's a big step in my career, if I'm honest. I think, like, the concentration it takes at this level to defend a lead every day. I definitely realise how hard it is, but yeah, I think it's a big step.
It's hard to believe, what a week, and yeah, today the main goal was to keep safe Tom, and in the end I think he paid us for all we did this week for him, and yeah, I'm really delighted to thank him and all the team with that victory.
Moschetti winning the final stage ahead of Groenewegen as Jaco AlUla ended the week empty-handed. Milano, Christoph and Fedorov completed the top 5, with Merlier down in 13th and the chase group at 57 seconds. Pidcock's final winning margin was 1 minute and 9 seconds, while UnoX played it perfectly. All 3 of their riders leapfrogged Keplinger and Hatherley, who slipped to 5th and 6th. Pidcock also goes home with the red jersey as the winner of the points classification. 4 riders ended up on 30 points, but the race winner was obviously the best placed overall. As well as winning the team's classification, UnoX claimed a 1-2 in the youth classification with Kulset and Holter. It was an excellent week for the Norwegians. And Jens Reinders finished up as our most active rider after getting into 3 breakaways. Thanks very much for joining us for the 5th edition of the AlUla Tour, and we'll see you again in 2026.